How did you get into the world that you're in?
Yeah. I've had a lot of different jobs and a lot of twists and turns, I think, to my career. So I'm a Nebraskan, born and raised, so I'm a Husker, and grew up in Lincoln, which is a lot like Boise, fun college town. It's also the capital, also on one edge of the state where most of the population is, and then it's wide open, a lot like Idaho. So I feel very at home here because of where I grew up, and I'm the youngest of 6 kids. So there's a lot of us. They're all my half brothers and sisters. I'm, the age difference, my brother, who's the closest in age to me, is 7 years older. So I felt like I was sort of like an only child, but then had this huge family, which was amazing. And my sister was in college when I was in the 4th grade, and she was in a production. She was a theater person. So I always grew up going to watch my big sister Crystal on stage, and I loved it. And it was always so much fun, and I love the magic of theater. And I, didn't really do it, but was the best audience member. And she was in a production of Macbeth. She played Lady Macduff, and there's a child. Her child is in that show. And so I took that role. She's like, my little sister could do it. And that was eye-opening. I think at that moment I caught the theater bug. And it was the most incredible experience. I was the only kid. I was with all these college kids, and I thought I was so cool. And what I think really solidified it for me is the director explained the Shakespearean story to me, and the hidden piece where, there's the prophecy of when the forest meets the castle. Well, that's when your kingdom will end. But instead, it was really a prophecy that was hidden, meaning where the townspeople with branches and on fire marched up to the castle, and that was actually the ending. And I think when I was in the 4th grade, it was like, oh, this is what storytelling can be. This is what live theater is. And I had such a great time. So that started my journey.
That's cool.
I didn't do sports as a kid. I think I tried to do track once, and that did not work. I was just not built for it. But I was certainly built for the theater. And so I did that all through junior high and high school. And when I got to college at the University of Nebraska, you sit down with a counselor and they're like, well, what do you want to major in? And I had no clue. I don't know. And they said, well, what did you do in high school? I did theater. All right, well, we'll just put you in the theater department. So that's where I stayed.
Okay.
And had incredible professors, met my husband-to-be there. He was an actor. He's in the grad program. And at that point, it was really about, okay, what do I want to do? At that point, my sister was living in Los Angeles. I had gone to visit her a bunch. She worked in the film and television world. And I was like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. After I graduate, I'm going to move to LA. So I did. And I kicked around there for about 6 years. I was a freelance script supervisor. I worked for Disney. I worked for an acting coach. I did a bunch of stuff. And my time at Disney was amazing because I was on the studio side, and we worked for The Wonderful World of Disney. If you remember those Sunday night TV show movies. So I was on the production end of that. Cool. And I loved it, but I really did miss live performance, and LA is really not the place for live performance. And that city was hard. I was there the end of the 90s, and, I think I got there in 96, I think, and we left in 2001. It was just, at that point in time, I didn't see a future there for me. Without having to really kind of do what didn't feel really very natural, which is like the hey and work the room. And I'm more of a one-on-one kind of, let me get to know you. Yeah. And that's not that city. Yeah. And so I felt very discouraged. And so I went, you know what? We're going to go back to Nebraska for a year and figure things out. And I ended up staying, I think, 6 years or 8 years. Got my graduate degree. And I think this is where I started to work for a community theater. I was teaching young people theater, and I was directing, and I was happy, but I was also, I don't know what to do with this.
Mm-hmm.
And there was the Lead Center on the campus of the University of Nebraska, which I grew up knowing.
Mm.
Did not even occur to me that there were jobs there.
Mm.
And they reached out and said, hey, we have a new position that we think you'd be great for. And so I applied and I got the job. And so I was the Associate Director of Community Engagement and Learning, which is a super long title to basically say you run the education programs, and when artists come to town, you connect them with,
Oh, cool.
theater students
Yeah.
or across the state of Nebraska into small communities. So that's what I did for about 5 years. And that's really where I entered into this industry.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was the moment where I went, okay, this is my community. This is what I want to do. But I really want to do programming. So I got my grad degree at UNL while I was working full time. And then in 2009, when we all remember 2009, with everything, the crash, all of the financial issues, we decided to move.
Yeah.
If I had to get a new job and move. And jobs were hard to find in this industry. I'm sure every industry. And so I took a job in Cleveland, Ohio, where I got to do some programming, which was really what I wanted to do. And I stayed there for a few years. And then I kind of bopped around from there, working my way up, and where I really found sort of the love of everything that theater provided, being a director provided, was leading teams and really setting the vision for an organization. So that's what I've kind of been doing ever since. And so this is my third or fourth move in my industry.
Cool.
And when this job came open at the Morrison Center as executive director, I just saw so much potential and possibility. And that was 6 years ago.